Not bad. This bitch. Hold on, let me fix this. Alright. Shouldn't be lagging. Should be good. Let's do this shit. Watch this shit. It's a part 2. So, you haven't seen the
Loyalty,
first part. Watch the other shit.
honour, respect. When you lose even one of those, you take something away from those around you. The ones you love, your friends. We let down those closest to us without ever realising we'd done so. The people that didn't leave work at night. They worked the railways for the love of railways. They weren't silenced. They weren't subdued. They just didn't have anything to object to. By the time they realised there was a problem, it was too late. We didn't stifle them. We didn't lock them away. We didn't lie to them. We committed the worst sin of all. We just didn't listen.
Back on this shit, man. Back on this bullshit, bro. I'm tired of this shit. This shit fucked up, bro. Bro, look at this nerves throwing on this shit. Oh, we gotta turn this off. My apologies, gotta turn these on. I don't know what these niggas be saying half the time.
On the 6th of October 2015, the world was reintroduced to the horrors and suffering that began on a small island off the northwest coast of England.
I don't think the documentary showed anything we didn't already know. People had just become desensitised to what had happened to Thomas and his friends. The reaction, or rather, overreaction, began straight away.
This young man in the USA had become so traumatised by Shed 17, he had memorised all the dialogue and would do nothing but watch the programme in a loop, mouthing the words.
The town was buzzing with news of her pregnancy.
He would later be taken away to a psychiatric unit. Many viewers would be offered similar treatment, often being asked to illustrate what scared them, and confronting it as a successful therapy. This young man began making his own model railway stories as a form of treatment. Soon many of these people would be allowed limited access to the outside world, even beginning to form social connections to people, and in some cases, form friendships.
After the Thomas incident became public, the tourist trade began to dry up. People stopped coming to Sodor for biofusion operations, and so there were massive layoffs on the railway itself.
Numerous attempts were made to salvage the tourist trade on Sodor. Finally, in a last-ditch attempt, the railway was promoted with an ill-judged celebrity endorsement.
Of the train.
Fuck is this crackhead?
But it wouldn't just be young people suffering. Many would suffer trauma in their own way, both human and biofused.
Oh my god. Holy shit. What the fuck is that?
With the documentary came the public outcry and the media's need for a
Do you
scapegoat.
think it's in the Discord? Cause I was in there for about 10 minutes waiting. Let me check. Yeah, nobody was in there. So I mean, I was just like, fuck it. These what it is. Alright, we go.
The Goetze family were in hiding. The fat had vanished with all his money, and there I was, in full public view, being blamed for the whole thing.
Do you want to apologise? Because frankly, you shouldn't
Trying
have
to shit
done that.
again, but I don't know. This is that shit, man.
I was finally given the chance to tell my side of the story
Oh, I got my voice
on
changed now?
national television,
Hold on.
tell people what actually happened, and acquit myself in the eyes of the public.
Mr. Hartley, are you to blame?
Bitch ass voice changer. I thought I turned this shit off. Hold on. My apologies. Thought I fucking turned this shit off, man. Fucking, I turned that bullshit off. Okay, it says off right there. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Hold on, let me this.
Shit. There we go. Is it normal now? Should be normal now.
For the events on Sodor Island.
Well, let me tell you, I am not.
I am totally to blame for what happened to Thomas and all his friends, and I do it again tomorrow.
Last time I go on Channel 4,
It's normal.
But the public outcry would bring an anonymous whistleblower out into the light. Someone who would reveal more facts about the events on Sodor Island, both before and after the Thomas incident.
I worked closely on the television series in the early 80s, so I was around the engines at all times. It's only now, after I can't make a difference to those engines' lives, that I've heroically decided to speak.
As the government finally relented and shut down the whole biofusion operation on Sodor, a tragic dilemma faced the scientists.
Now.
Some people were still in the biofusion process. Being in process is the last place anyone wants to be. They had to complete their procedures quickly, or they'd be left to die.
that meant turning them into the simplest form of life that existed.
Stream is lagging.
Trucks, particularly the faceless ones, rarely had the brain capacity to retain long-term memory.
They were the lucky ones. I can't imagine a worse hell than being a truck. Fortunately, most of them didn't live long.
I don't know why it fucking does this shit. It's good now? Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna do that, I guess, from time to time. Fucking bitch ass computer. I don't know why it's doing this shit. Yeah. Oh my god, bro.
The biological organs' exposure to the open world meant an increased risk of infection and slow, painful death. Fearing being shut away forever, some trains would seek opportunity elsewhere. Chris Duck Dixon and Oliver Surname's dream was to work on the famous Sodor Railway.
They were childhood friends who shared the same love of trains. They'd made a pact to become engines. Sadly, it came too late.
The ban on biofusion came into effect just after Oliver and Duck were looking forward to working on the railway.
When it looked as though they would be locked away forever, the Japan Railway Group offered them work on their railway.
Duck and Oliver jumped at the chance. The travel was paid for by the Japanese railway, and they couldn't wait to be there.
Unfortunately, arriving in Tokyo, Duck and Oliver would find that, under Japanese law, they weren't recognised as human beings, and so had no rights at all. They would soon learn their true fate.
There's toys.
They, along with other engines unfortunate enough to fall into this trap, were to take part in a sick pay-per-view event. Fitted with pneumatic joints, stabilizers and supports, they were ready for the main event.
Before you get started, I want to place my bets real quick. Okay. I'm gonna call this number 1.
Fitted with pneumatic joints,
Alright, it's number 2. I got my money on number 2.
stabilizers and supports,
Money's on him.
they were ready for the main event.
Right, left, uppercut. Nice shot. Both men landing in that exchange. Come on.
Oh, you won? You're lying, bro. Nope.
They both knew this was a battle to the death, so they had to put their friendship aside. There was only one way to survive.
Lost, bro. Are you kidding me? Let's look at this trash, bro. Oh my, look at him. He's getting slept. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. Oh my. Bro. I shouldn't have bet on him, bro. I shouldn't have bet on him, bro. Look at this. Form, bro. Damn.
Other engines would welcome opportunities offered by the British government.
The British government had banned the use of biofusion publicly, but couldn't ignore the military opportunities. Selling war to the world was too profitable.
Hitlergistics was the military contractor secretly tasked with continuing the work Sodor Research had begun.
The first task was finding as many engines as possible.
Biofuse material had become rare, and Hitlergistics immediately recruited people to hunt down as many decommissioned engines as possible.
One was an old colleague we all called friend. Even when he was being interviewed for the Shed 17 documentary, he was neck deep in secret government research. His biggest dream was much more sinister.
Project G1 was Professor Owen Ruth's dream, the breaking down of biofuse matter to their very cells, and then deprogramming them.
Engine remains being reused to form anything they wanted.
Ein die Projekt. Sie cells have their DNA instructions removed. Biofuel stem cells, which can then adapt and assume any form necessary. It is for this purpose we have begun making extensive research into twins.
Annie Clarabella and Kevin Diesel had met as rail enthusiasts, fallen in love, and gotten married within weeks of meeting. The next step in their eyes was to become biofused.
It was the most romantic thing in their eyes. He would become an engine, she a coach, and they would ride the rails together. Kevin became his namesake, a sleek black diesel engine.
It was Annie's operation where things didn't go to plan.
As Annie's cells were being reprogrammed, they split in the early stages of the operation, and 2 coaches were created, although these twins were far from identical.
People started to notice just how many twins were being created on the island, but the questions were brushed off or ignored.
In an effort to deflect criticism, Annie and Clarabelle, the first 2 biofused coaches, were put into service straight away.
Everyone was very excited. No one seemed to ask about where all the organic parts were in a coach. Or about those luxurious, expensive pink leather furnishings.
I'm pausing that. Look away for 1 second, bro. Come on. Alright, shit. What the fuck is this, bro? Bro, I might have to ban you. You're a school threat, bro. Bro. This nigga trying to get me to react to a video of people on drugs, bro. Yeah, you probably gotta get banned for that one. That is a fucking Hall of Fame Menace Society badge. I'm not reacting to this, bro.
I don't even want to tell you what they found in the toilets.
Following this disaster, Annie and Clarabelle would be kept out of the public gaze. One would stay with her husband, the other sent away to hit logistics. Diesel was forced to make a heartbreaking choice: which of these ladies to spend the rest of his life with.
It must have taken him all of 2 seconds.
For Annie, a lifetime with her husband, hidden away from the public gaze. For Clarabelle, the safety and care of Hit Logistics.
Hit Logistics weren't just interested in how twins were created. It was the abilities they had because of it.
The telepathic links between twin engines was found to be incredibly powerful.
Now you can hear my voice.
The psychic links found in natural twins is profoundly more powerful in biofused vehicles. Of course, essentially, these are the same person.
Hit Logistics would use what they had learned to work on duplication. A volunteer soldier could be biofused exponentially, creating copies of those cells.
Think of it, a willing human participant, not just controlling a weapon, but becoming the weapon. Able to react to danger and orders in a fraction of the time.
To maintain the secrecy of these illegal experiments, the soldiers' faces would be covered up, so that the only giveaway was a cry of discomfort when a vehicle was damaged or a tank shell was fired. But Professor Ruth wanted to take these experiments further.
course he did.
to duplicate his
He was a school
deprogrammed
threat,
cells, to assimilate any biofused matter it made contact with, to assume any form of any size.
Think of the possibilities. A weapon dropped into a city that can
better not
take
be
any
downstairs
form
in
it
this shit,
wishes and adapt
I ain't getting
any
downstairs. Don't
organic
put nobody-
material it
Nah, don't fuck
finds.
with that shit, bro.
Whole communities
Oh,
of
no, sorry,
people
that train
removed
downstairs last
and left empty for occupation.
I'm telling you right now.
Stage 1 is the secure storage of biofuels genetic matter in stasis.
This bitch is 300.
Stage 2 will involve the release of this material in secure conditions, of course. To release this material in an uncontrolled state would be disastrous.
There was nothing they wouldn't try in that place, even experimenting with mirrors.
Holy shit. Oh, that nigga's off the pack, bro.
As well as mirror testing,
God damn.
work on twins would
Chill
become
out.
more extreme, to test just how far the telekinetic link in biofused matter would go. For one set of twins, the link would go too far. Whilst unseen horrors were administered on Donald, the doctors and specialists at HIT Logistics could observe in full detail the torture as an unbreakable bond with his twin would tear Douglas apart.
Oh my god, bro. How do you come up with this, man? Damn, bro. This. Yo, chill out, bro. I gotta get this on my screen. Fucking hell, man. How do you come up with this,
HIT
bro?
Logistics would also be seen as a welcome refuge from another threat on Sodor.
Steamies, we
Whoever made
called
this
them.
is sick individual.
They started out as rail enthusiasts,
bro.
train spotters.
How do you come up with that
They
shit,
loved
man?
engines. But
Damn.
where was the harm in that?
Fucking
But
shit.
when living engines were introduced on Sodor, they couldn't get here fast enough.
Most were seen
Where's
as
Tom?
enthusiastic volunteers on the railway, some getting
Oh, you got
permanent
exercise.
jobs.
Last video.
Now the Steamies' obsession with engines had a new, darker place to vent their frustrations.
James was a favourite engine. Sometimes every night for weeks, they'd gather at the turntable and play a Spin the Engine.
Oh my god. That's fucking tough, bro. Oh my god, bro, chill out. Damn.
This security footage, hidden by Sodor research until now, shows Gordon desperately pretending he couldn't fit on the turntable. But James was always the favourite, even to the television writers.
James's driver and fireman were feeling him all over.
But I had nothing to do with any of that business. Not after the first time.
There we go.
With the closure of the railways, the engines were hidden away,
Bitch in 4K.
and the Steamies would go underground and bide their time.
And it would be 30 years and a new documentary before anyone cared. Before anyone asked, why did this happen? Where were the engines?
Free editors.
And what can we do about any of
that
it?
shit, bro.
With protests aimed at the government and HIT Logistics, the destruction of the evidence was speeded up.
Oh, them niggas about to get fucking nuked in this bitch. Oh, damn. They better come Pop-Tarts.
Unnecessary engines would be incinerated quickly and brutally.
Oh, chill out, chill out. I'm watching
As easy as signing a form, ticking a box, or waving a flag. The engines we knew and loved were murdered in the most efficient way possible.
But it would be the most insignificant death of all that would have the most devastating effect. Not any transport at HIT Logistics, but the one nobody witnessed, except for
I'm
one.
watching that fucking... Niggas about to get turned into fucking Hot Pockets in this bitch. I'm watching that shit, bro.
They'd spent 30 years together, just looking into each other's eyes, forgotten by us all, and as happy as any of us could ever hope to be.
As Clarabelle was disposed of, no one but Diesel knew what happened to her twin nearly 20 miles away.
Motherfucker getting baked in this man.
Anyway, what's wrong?
Oh, damn.
What's the matter?
What's happening?
Wow.
Elliot, please.
It's a 2-for-1 special.
Stay with me.
Double homicide.
I can't go.
Oh,
Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. No. No. No.
That's nasty, bro. Shit is nasty, man. I gotta turn off my notifications on my phone. Let me turn off my phone's notifications because it keeps moving my damn camera. Hold on. Turn that bitch off. Alright. Webcam is back on. Like we never left. Should be on at least. Why is it upside down? What the fuck? There we go. Back on. Like we never left. Alright. Enough of that
But it wasn't over for Diesel. He had to get out. As terrible as seeing his wife perish was, the worst was yet to come.
Damn, bro. They toasted her ass. Damn, bro. That's tough. Like a fucking flaming young, my nigga. Fucking brisket. Damn, bro. Fucking got cooked on it. Looking like lobster. That is tough. Should've just stayed a human, man. Doing the most, trying to be a goddamn train for no reason. It was completely unnecessary, but he wanted to do it. These what it is. You can hit that gate as much as you want. That gate, man. Nigga, you tripping, bro. Chill out. Chill out, bro. Chill out.
This is all your fault.
No.
You'll never laugh at me again.
Man, fuck this nigga, bro.
The rights of Biofilm
Fuck y'all, homie. He dead, nigga.
be ignored no more.
What are you talking about?
The secrets of Sodor will be revealed.
fuck
The state-sponsored torture of engines must be stopped.
Diesel would form the Sodor Liberation Front. His dream was to make Sodor Island a home for engines and other transport, free from the tyranny of human beings.
And we will not stop until the island of Sodor is recognized as a refuge for all engines.
For engines, man. Go fuck the engines, bro. Real shit.
Meanwhile, the remains of the engines would be disposed of.
The remains at Hit Logistics would be moved off-site to a quarry in the Blue Mountains of Sodor. 6,000 pounds of desiccated biofused matter. Its location, the real mystery. And tending to this top-secret site was the only engine in the UK still being illegally operated.
Oh, we can get him do pretty much anything we want to.
Yeah, they got my nigga in the trenches, bro. That nigga is working, bro. Yeah, free to home, man.
This undercover footage reveals how Ferdinand was being forced to work, controlled by his addiction to Welsh coal.
Shit's tough, bro.
Yeah, you gonna work for it? Hey, do you want some of this?
We used Welsh coal to get the weaker engines started up, to give some engines a kick when they were struggling to get up in the morning. We never realised all the effects it was having on some engines.
Here the coal, man. No?
Now what are you looking at me for? Oh, let's all look at funny engine. Is that right? Let's all look at the funny engine. You don't look at the funny engine.
Welsh coal acted as a narcotic on the engines. Prolonged use would lead to addiction and dependency.
off that Zonkers, my nigga. Look at this thing, bro. Nigga tweaking. Oh my god.
As Welsh coal addiction became a bigger and bigger problem, dependency increased on the set of the television series.
No, you'll never win first prize, Percy moaned.
Don't worry, Percy.
Thomas puffed.
This nigga too, bro. They all off of that pack.
One morning, Gordon was in the yard taking on a large supply of coal.
Oh shit. All these niggas off the pack.
That's the third load of coal you've had today, Gordon. Some might say you're being rather greedy.
Increasingly, engines would cause what appeared to be accidents, but in fact were attempts to get exposed to Welsh coal. But prolonged use would result in permanent brain damage.
Dealers on the set, violence among the actors. We knew there were a problem when Gordon started talking to the voice in his head, telling him to do things, bad things.
Yes, said Gordon, I will.
Oh damn.
Hit Logistics would later take Welsh coal research to its natural conclusion. High-speed steam engines would be pushed to their limits on high doses of the coal.
Oh my god!
As pressure from the media increased, and
Rider
fearing more bad press, Project G1 was put on hold, its future uncertain. Stage 1 stored away in what Professor Ruth called a controlled environment.
He dug his own grave, appearing in that documentary, as well as working at Hit Logistics. But he didn't see anything wrong in that. And so, just like everyone else, he blamed me for everything, even Smudger.
Smudger's story had been a children's favourite around the world.
Smudger worked on the Mid-Sodor Railway. The mine the engines worked on didn't make much, but it was enough to keep them going. Smudger was moved there because of his faults. His wheel alignment was off, meaning he'd come off the rails too often.
Damn,
unfortunately, the cash-strapped mine company couldn't afford the repairs. Their solution would be barbaric.
Oh damn.
They dismembered him, taking away his wheels and opening him up. The butchers turned him into a steam generator.
Shut off from all sensation, Smudger powered the mine for many years. Alone with his thoughts, he would slowly lose his mind.
When business dried up, do you think they come back for Smudger? Did they, hell? He were left there for years. Everyone had forgotten him. In a way, it would have been better for Smudger if he'd been forgotten forever.
Sadly, for Smudger, salvation would arrive, but in the form of Hit Logistics.
Professor Ruth was still eager to find as much biofused material as he could, but Smudger had changed over time.
Smudger had remained in the same place for nearly 30 years. His organic parts were no longer just part of a steam engine. They had become shed.
Oh my god.
Smudger and the shed were one and the same.
How do you come up with this, man?
Oh,
wait, chill out.
No, oh god, no! 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 Please! Wait, no! No, please! No, God, no! No!
Nasty, bro.
This would be the final act of Hit Logistics, closing down all their research and destroying evidence. Soon, there would be nothing left to even prove their existence.
That was what they hoped. They didn't count on one final desperate act. Cranky had been driven mad by all the things he'd seen working for the government, but the worst thing was having to keep it quiet for all those years.
Unfortunately, Cranky's genetic structure meant he couldn't turn around fully, not without breaking the entire circulatory system to his head. Effectively, he was condemning himself to a painful death.
Oh my god, bro. That nigga's on a fucking suicide mission, this bitch.
I believe Cranky knew the consequences, and he knew it had to be done.
But his wouldn't be the only sacrifice that day.
Oh, these niggas some terrorists. Oh my god.
I don't believe he was evil, or that he wanted to kill anyone. He just wanted to show the world what the government was trying to cover up. He didn't know what was in there, or the damage he'd do.
Diesel had veered into the now secured stasis container of Project G Stage 1. Opening it up and allowing the deprogrammed biofused matter to assimilate any matter it wished, and to take on any form it wished.
Okay. Oh, what the? Hey, I didn't know this Resident Evil. Oh my god. What in the shit, Godzilla?
I looked at the mirror, lads.
Any biofused engines in there didn't stand a chance.
Oh, he's going for everybody. Okay.
They were dragged into the canister. And then we all got to see it in its natural state.
Oh, what is... Oh my... Oh no, bro. Bro, that is terrifying. Oh yeah, they gone. Hey, you better start sprinting like you saying more, bro. They gone, bro. They is gone, bro. Oh, that's nasty.
As the reality of the situation sunk in, government forces were deployed. This would be the only line of defense.
I'm gonna murk that nigga. I'm gonna murk him.
But Project G1 was more than capable of defending itself, and would take whatever action was necessary.
I thought he was gonna use that as a chameleon or something. He about to throw that nigga. Damn!
Gordon's alive!
It could now not be stopped. As it forged ahead, it became clear where its goal was. More biofused cells, more life, more engines. It had to assimilate cells to grow, to live, to spread. Blue Mountain Quarry. The site of thousands of tons of dead, desiccated biofused matter, hidden from the outside world. A rich source of matter which would make Project G1 indestructible.
It were drawn here to be with its own kind, the last vestiges of Sodor's engines. It was trying to find peace.
That shit is fucking terrible.
Realizing Project G1's destination and intent, the military provided it with what it was looking for.
Listen here, what we got? They were just using red lights, like I couldn't tell what that is. Oh, it's one of them biofuels.
The last engine whose fate everyone had asked about for years.
Oh, is that Thomas? Oh, that's Thomas. Oh, how's it hanging?
After 28 operations to try and reconstruct him as a human being, he had remained behind closed doors, unwilling until now to show the world the monster he had become.
That wasn't the Thomas I knew. That wasn't an engine or a human. It were a creature mutilated by surgeons and engineers alike.
Unable to react to the outside world at this stage, Thomas was the last chance the military had to stop Project G1.
Can I talk? I was about to say this is really tense, but I mean, this nigga just started screaming, so it throw me off. Do we have like a peace treaty, or is this nigga gonna stop being a bozo? Dirty, bro. I'm tense right now, bro.
Finally, the nightmare were over. Thomas had found the remains of his friends. His friends had found him. Sodor Island's favourite sons would finally be at peace.
Wow. I knew something was gonna happen. Are they gonna avalanche him? What are they doing?
The mystery of the Blue Mountain had been solved. 6,000 tons of desiccated, dehumanized biofused matter hidden in full view.
Bro, that looks like that one moon from Legend of Zelda. What is it? Oh my god. Yeah. This is Indiana Jones. You better run, bro. Oh, they can't run, bro. They can't run. It's GG. Damn. GG, bro. Yeah, that shit got murked. With the quickness, they murked that. They got pulled up and got murked. GG's. Damn. That's tough. It had to be done. That nigga was being a menace. Hazard to the nation. Had to be done. That's tough.
This was the military's plan all along. There was never any intention to allow them some kind of peace. And with that, Thomas lost his only link to the past. Now all that's left is his reanimated pneumatic body, a confused mind that lost everything. With his past the only thing left to torment him, Thomas decided to leave. He'd seen everything. The last people he trusted had abandoned him, but I was still here to tell his story. After all the betrayal, disloyalty and torment, I could still say I were his only friend, the only person who hadn't abandoned him. I could hold my head up high and say I was
Yeah, that nigga got merged, bro. Okay. She recognizes a biofused. Only it's kind of 2032. Shade from the United Kingdom. Some country. Okay. Let's keep fucking calling.
Keith? 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 Can
What
you
is
hear me,
this?
Keith?
What is this?
Can you hear me, Keith? Stay with me now. Stay with me now. Okay, we have to shock him. Clear?
That will not be necessary.
Who are you?
Oh.
Who is this man? What's he doing here?
Oh, wow.
This man is in our care.
You have no right to be here.
Relax, Mr. Hartley. You are in our capable hands now.
Who's Mr. Hartley? That can't be the dude that just got ripped in half. There's no way. What is this? Is that end credits or something? Fuck, I'm not keeping also shit's 50 minutes, nigga. We nowhere near the end. Oh yeah, we get like some more minutes.
Well, Mr. Hartley, you've been quite the thorn in our side. The wrench in our works, the leaves on our rails. Never want to shy away from the media, were you, Mr. Hartley? Always another revelation about your faithful employer. Never a care for the trouble you caused, the innovations you've hampered, initiatives you stalled, the jobs you've lost, the challenges to this island's human supremacy. Well, we've got a very special place for you here. Somewhere you can't open your big mouth or interfere anymore.
This nigga about to get held.
And don't worry, Mr. Hartley. You're among friends here. This is where everyone ends up once they've become troublesome.
Oh, man. Okay, so I was right. Mr. Harley is the dude who got rid of that. Damn. Sheesh. That is tough. Credits. I mean, aside from all the weird, gory shit, I mean, it was pretty good. It was cool. I'm not gonna watch it a second time, though. I'll tell you that. All right. What the fuck, bro? Open up Discord and I see this weird shit, man. I don't even want to show this, man. I really don't even want to show that. Look at this shit. Hold up. Look at this shit, man. Open up Discord and I see that shit.